So good afternoon or good morning or good evening wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders Podcast would like to welcome entrepreneur, CEO and founder of HeartCore Business, speaker and author, the dynamic and phenomenal Shanda Sumpter. So welcome, Shanda.
Hi, Karen. Welcome. Thank you.
So Shanda, I would really like to congratulate you on all your successes and achievements. Can you please share with us more about your journey and what led you into your current entrepreneurial journey?
God. I had a great job working for a real estate company, traveling to London every single month, and it actually all looked great, and I should have been super grateful, but inside I felt a little empty. Not a little empty, I felt a lot empty.
Yes.
But I've always been driven, and so I worked for this company. Everything was going great, in my opinion, and we were being successful based on our goals that we had set. And long story short, I really had an encounter with God that I thought I was going crazy. Like, I was in my car driving to Las Vegas from Arizona, and I had an encounter where, like I say, God was in the back seat of my car, and he kept telling me that I was supposed to teach financial freedom and speak and write books. And I was like, I'm dyslexic. I hate speaking in front of people. Like you picked the wrong girl. Like I literally was like, that just sounded like a nightmare to me. And not to mention, I didn't even know, like, now I coach businesses. I didn't even know the coaching industry was a coaching industry. I knew nothing about this field that I am currently in. But basically I was driving and had this encounter. And then in the encounter, I started to get afraid because, like, this voice would not go away.
Wow.
And I actually almost pulled over on the side of the road because I thought, am I going crazy? Like I'm having a full-blown conversation with this voice.
Yes.
And so I kind of got my grip, and I said, okay, I'll call my friend Robert, who I'd been coaching with, and doing well in his coaching program. Like, he had this habit course. I didn't even know it was coaching, but I took this course, which was like a habit course to change your habit. And Robert was the guy who led it. And I said to the voice, which I really do believe it was God, I said, I will call my friend Robert and ask him if he'll do a program with me. If he'll do it, then I will coach financial freedom. Otherwise, I never want to hear from you again. And the voice just stopped. And I kept my word, and I called Robert, left him a message. A couple days later, he called me back and he said, do you know what, Shanda? It's so funny you call me. I have always thought that you should be in this industry. And I was in the real estate industry. And so
which is so far different from coaching.
Right?
Yeah.
So different. So he gave me 24 hours to create a product and a program, which I did. I put all the candles around me and drank tea and meditated and prayed and everything I could, because I couldn't believe I had to do this. Yeah. And I created a program in 24 hours, and we launched it. And it's really history from there. I mean, you can ask me any questions about it, but a year later, I ended up resigning from my job, doing this company full time. We're on our 9th year now, and I feel like I'm just getting started.
That's amazing. So, as the founder of HeartCore, can you share with us more about how the name of your company came about, and what was the inspiration behind it? And can you share with us more about the company for those who don't know?
Yeah, so it's a business coaching company. I started it by taking a talent that I was good at, which was I seemed to always land myself in leadership roles inside of companies that I knew nothing about. Like, for instance, I was running a nightclub on the Las Vegas Strip, and like, I've never been a bartender. I didn't know how to do pour costs. Like, I had no business becoming a general manager of a nightclub in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And I have a series of 3 different occasions in my life, and it was 10 years ago, almost 9 years ago. So it's not like I'm 60 years old or 50 years old. So it's like 3 major careers, all in careers and positions that I should never have gotten. And really, I didn't know it was called leadership, but like, well, when I started this company, was to teach that, how like landing these leadership roles and these, you know, successful careers and companies when I know nothing about it. Like when I ran real estate, I still don't know how to write a real estate contract. However, I did over $100 million in real estate in 14 months. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's like in
Incredible.
sales, and that's just me doing the sales with an
Yes.
assistant. Like nobody else. There was no advertising costs. There was no anything, just me doing the sales with revenue partners. And
Yes.
so I have those situations. So when I started my company, I was like, well, what would I coach people on? And I just was like, well, the art of receiving money. Like, how do you put yourself in a position where you receive money for helping people? And that's how I started my company. And the name came about at a restaurant called Brio in Las Vegas. And I was at Brio and I thought, now remember my history. I landed these jobs, these big leadership role jobs. And so I was like, how have I been successful? Because obviously I wanted to be successful at this new company I created. And I was like, how was I successful? I was like, well, I always went to the head decision maker and I just poured out generosity to them. Like if they were like with the nightclub, they were struggling with a nightclub that just wasn't full. You know, it was just really like it just was making no money.
Yes.
And so I literally sat in a barbecue, and as my friends, you know, in my early ages, as my friends were like drinking and barbecuing, I sat there with a computer and I had them tell me what they wanted in a nightclub. And I wrote all that out, organized it on a Word doc, and I just brought that Word doc to the owner of that company, or not the owner, but a major VP and partner in the company, and I gave it to him. And that's how I got hired. So I was like, how do I do that in my own job? Like in my own company, I got nobody to talk to because I'm the person and I'm the person trying to be successful. And so I said, well, I mean, my only boss could be God now. And so I had heard a story that nothing in your brain or body controls your heart.
Yes.
And so I was like, so I guess God controls that.
Yeah.
And so that's how HeartCore Business came into play, literally off of that, you know, thought like, okay, if I name the company HeartCore, then at least I know that it's the heart connected to God. We work for God.
Yeah. And it's authentic. As well. So what would you say some of your biggest lessons and learnings have been through your entrepreneurial journey?
Follow through. You have to follow through. Like, so I'll give you like a tie off of, the name HeartCore.
Yes.
Like within a couple months, definitely a year, I hated my name. I mean, I couldn't stand my name, but I never changed it because I'm a big fan of follow through. I don't think building a company off your feelings that's not commitment, because last time I checked, my feelings are inconsistent.
Exactly.
And
like all of us.
willpower is inconsistent too. I mean, you want to focus on the wrong thing to grow your business, focus on your willpower. Like people beat themselves up because they didn't get up and go to the gym this morning. And it's like, listen, that's your willpower.
Yes.
And so, you know, I do a 7 a.m. coffee with Shanda every morning, Monday through Friday on our business page, except for the last week of the month. I would never be able to willpower my way up to doing that, nor would I stay consistent. So people who have issues with consistency, I would never stay consistent if I didn't hold myself accountable. And the way I hold myself accountable is everybody knows I'm showing up at 7 a.m. So like, you know, this morning is a special day, you know, of the year this morning with our family. And so I did my coffee with Shanda in bed this morning with my son, you know, in my pajamas. And that's never happened before. But I did that just to show everybody that not only I have to stay consistent because I'm held accountable, not by my willpower, not by my feelings, but on my commitment. And then on top of that, it's like, then I just got to take that moment and show everybody that literally, like, you don't have to be perfect to show up. Just show up and give.
Exactly. Because I think there's definitely a persona or an environment that creates that, and it's really a false perception, I think.
Yeah, it is, because even when you get, I've gotten to be around some of the most powerful people in the world of our time.
Yes.
And, you know, they're human.
Exactly.
They really are. They have relationship challenges. They have money fears, even when they have lots of money. They have goals and aspirations they don't know that they can hit. You know, they have insecurities. You know, they have all the stuff that every single one of us has, except for it's like they keep proving to themselves that they can do it because they found ways of completing what they start. And I really believe that the most talented people are not at the top. I think the most committed are. So we have a mantra. We have a mantra that I used to say all the time when I was learning how to follow through, and that was I simply would say I complete everything I start.
Yeah.
And I've now drilled it into myself.
Yes. Amazing. So your passion for helping and supporting or support for other entrepreneurs, what would you say is unique and different about what you give to your clients, which separates you from other competitors? And can you share with us some of the success and results that you have personally seen through your own clients?
Sure. So there's a client of ours, Jessica, and she, we typically have a very driven client, someone who finds themselves on their phone a lot or on their computer a lot. They find themselves often a little pushy in their lives because they're pushing forward, they're pushing the people around them forward. They're a lot of times a little controlling.
Yes.
And that's not all of them, but that's a good base of our entrepreneurial clients. And so, you know, a great example is one of our clients, Jessica, who, you know, had a company, and a situation happened where she ended up adopting a little girl that she didn't know she was going to adopt. And she stepped up and adopted this little girl and realized quickly this little girl needed more of her attention. And being a driven woman, and we coach men and women, but being a driven woman, she decided to sell her company and become a full-time stay-at-home mom. Well, quickly after doing that, she realized that like doesn't work for her DNA. You get what I'm saying? Like although I have so much admiration for moms that, like, I guess what I'm saying is it can be just as much a vision to grow a company as it is to be a stay-at-home mom, and they're both perfect. The question is can you do the job all in? And my clients are people who are always trying to get all in to everything they're doing. So she became all in on being a stay-at-home mom, realized that wasn't going to work for her, and came to one of our events, ended up hiring us. And she worked part-time and did $250,000 in her first year, from startup idea inception to what she created in her first year, which, by the way, she's still working on it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's incredible.
She still isn't completely clear on what she's doing. So how are we able to get results like that for our clients that have high profit margins and they're able to create these results in a short period of time? Well, we start with the audience first. We are a big fan on building buyers, not followers. And I think a lot of people are trying to, you know, be famous online.
Oh,
and
awful.
we're just not interested in being famous. If you look at like our platforms, I mean, to some people they look good. But like the truth is we have 60 something thousand people on Instagram, but truthfully we could probably have 500,000. But we focused on building smaller audiences that were made up of buyers. And helping people and impacting people, which also, when you're impacting people, it reflects in your bank account. So we spend more time finding buyers versus like finding followers or possibilities.
Well, I think it's quality versus quantity, really, at the end of the day. So having built and continue to be very successful through your business, this process of building a strong team is critical to building a strong foundation. What would you say is different about your leadership style, both in your business and for your clients? And can you give us some examples?
Yes. So a great example is my assistant called me the other day, and after a year of kind of going in with her on different things, and by the way, she's extraordinary. But going in with her multiple times on giving her feedback or coaching around certain things that used to make her feel, she used to feel shut down, or she would feel like she'd done something bad or wrong, and it would give her this icky feeling around her job.
Yes.
And I stay in the fire with people,
Yes.
and I keep coaching the individual over like getting what I want. So
Yes.
for an example, my executive assistant called me the other day, and she just a couple days ago, and said, I just want to say thank you for all the grace you've had over the last year and a half, where you've just poured into me. And I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but like, it's just incredible that I just don't get triggered anymore. And I'm
Yes.
so much better at my job. And you know what I mean? Like, and even her marriage and all those, like, it's a direct reflection. Our whole life is a direct reflection of how we lead it.
Yes.
And so, if you've got somebody in your life that's blowing up at you, well, you could manage that differently. Believe it or not, as much as you don't think you have power to, you do. And
Yes.
so our leadership inside of our company is highly responsible. Like,
Yes.
we're highly responsible. So it's okay to have an emotion, but it's not okay to like beat somebody up with that emotion. Do you know what I mean?
It's also your reaction to things and learning to manage your reactions.
Yeah, and we give honest feedback in our company. So we don't like if my event person makes a mistake, I don't go and make my event person wrong for making the mistake.
Yes.
I go and talk to Trisha, and I say, so for instance, we just did an event that she made a mistake that probably cost us about $250,000. And there was no bark from me. Like, I didn't bark at her. I didn't like get angry at her. I was like, hey, next time we got to make sure we do boom, boom, boom. And when I first started working with Trisha, like, I don't know, I think she joined our company maybe a year and a half ago as well.
Yes.
And when I first started working with her, if I would have said that to her, like, hey, we made a mistake here. Can you make sure you do this step, and this step for the next event, so that we don't lose $250,000?
Yes.
She would have, when she came into my company, that just saying that in a very nice, kind, loving way,
Yes.
she would have beaten herself up. So where we're unique in leadership is, like, we take somebody from beat up to breakthrough.
Yes.
And when now, like, we just had that conversation, and she, like, it's not that she didn't care that we lost that type of income for the company.
Yes.
But she didn't think about it for more than like a few minutes, as she like was figuring out how to course correct the next event, and then came back with the solution.
Yes.
And the next event, by the way, was 2 days later, and she fixed it.
Wow.
And so there was no energy around it like she's bad, me being the boss. There was no energy like my employee sucks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so we don't have that. Like, that's not the feedback we give. We don't point fingers. We empower each other, and we are really honest about, hey, that mistake cost $250,000. So we don't want to make that mistake again. So here's what I think we should do. What do you think we should do? And so that's how we operate. And I think that's unique, because I hear powerful people all the time bitching and complaining about how everybody around them is the problem. And the truth is half the time the problem is that great leaders or people, just because somebody has made a lot of money, it doesn't mean they're a great leader.
Exactly.
And so I find there's a lot of people who've made a lot of money who are emotionally triggered, and that comes down on the people that work with them and the people that live with them.
Yes, exactly. So being a coach, you look at the whole engine of all the mechanisms of a business, from mindset to leadership and so much more. What would you say is the most common thread that entrepreneurs are faced with in our current economic climate? And what do you believe to be the biggest tools you bring to the table to help change and turn their business around?
So I think artificial intelligence is the biggest unknown. I don't think that there's a lot of people that are paying enough attention to it. I feel like it's a little bit like the real estate bubble in some ways. Like, at least the way I walked through the real estate bubble, there were some people that were a lot more educated than I was. But I know there was a lot of people who got hurt badly. I ended up with 3 homes in foreclosure, 7 years of bad credit. And I think I actually made it out better than most people. You know,
Yes,
you get what I'm saying? And so,
absolutely.
but I remember walking into that, talking to my stepdad, and I mean, I remember thinking he was so cheap because he wasn't buying a $1.7 million high-rise condo in Las Vegas. And he's like, this market's going to burst. And
Yes,
like, you've just never seen a market. You've never seen a whole downturn in a market. And he's right. I wasn't old enough. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So that was really the first downturn in a market I've ever seen in my life. And I think we're going to go, I don't think, I'm pretty certain we are going to go through a very interesting time. And anybody who says they know or they're certain about this, or they're all full of crap, because nobody
yes,
knows anything. Because the
because
truth is,
nobody does.
no, we've never lived the world we're about to live in, and it's here.
Yeah,
I mean, right now in Las Vegas, you can get a Lyft, like an Uber, that's already self-driving to take you
yeah.
to the airport. So, you know, you've already got a self-driving car in Las Vegas.
Yes.
So what does that mean for Uber and Lyft coming up? So
Yeah,
now what does that mean for all the people who make extra money with Uber and Lyft? So that's one aspect. Let's
yes,
talk about the medical industry. I know I met a little young boy that's about to get brain surgery, and there's no doctor on the planet that can that that can that can do this surgery,
yes.
because their hands can't be strong. Their hands are not straight enough, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they're like a doctor's too tired. He can't get into it's a millimeter of space. So
Yes.
like you've got all these doctors that are being replaced by robots that are doing a
Yes.
better job and are not exhausted by time. Now
Yeah.
then the argument is, but there's a doctor that's controlling that robot. Yes, but you don't it's not the same. Like if
No.
you're not, it's not like, if you look at the robot Sophia, she's already trained her brother robot quicker than we trained Sophia. She trained the other robot. So my
Yes.
point is, people are like, well, we train the robots. That's not true.
No.
They've already got an intelligence to them that they can out train us, and
Yes.
they can train each other. And so, you know, when you go to Dubai, and McDonald's has almost nobody working there. It's all computerized. So I think AI is the biggest thing for entrepreneurs to be paying attention to.
Yes.
Bots, AI, all of that artificial intelligence is taking us out, you
Yes.
know, and it is what it is, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to reinvent things. But there's a group of people, Karen, that are not going to reinvent anything.
No.
So I think the superpower that everybody could really focus on is their leadership. I
Yes.
think more than ever, it's so critically important for people to stop pointing the finger and to
Yes.
start realizing whatever is triggering you right now, you are on the emotional intelligence to create intellectual intelligence by beating your emotional intelligence. Here's what I mean by that. The quicker you can work on your emotional intelligence to figure out the chess game of not reacting, or even being able to shift a negative feeling into an empowered thought.
Yes.
So like a marriage, he's right, she's right, whatever. It's like whoever can shift that dialogue quicker is the leader, is the stronger leader. And it doesn't matter who's right. Like, who cares
100%.
who's right? It doesn't matter if you keep battling about who's right, you're in war, right?
Yes.
So emotional intelligence can actually lead to intellectual intelligence because of just wisdom. And I think that, like, I don't think people realize, like, when they're like, oh, that's just who I am, or that's just how I am, or I just don't like it when people do that. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I think those type of comments are really dangerous for the entrepreneur
Very.
coming up, because you won't innovate quick enough to
No.
figure it out. Because when AI takes over, and it's already taking over, there are people that cannot innovate because they're emotionally tapped.
Yeah, exactly. So that leads me to the next question. Women today are still faced with so many challenges, especially accessing funding. As you know, less than 5% of women got funded for startups. What and why would you say this happens? And what do you believe women still, in terms of confidence, need to get their ideas, out there? And what do you think, or why do you think we are still faced with these challenges? And what do you believe we need to change the narrative?
There's a lot of questions in there. But I
Sorry.
hear what you're saying. So,
I'm trying to be mindful of your time.
no, I get it. So first and foremost, it's less than 3% of women that get any sort of venture capital, but yet 51% of women currently 51% of the wealth in America is being held by women right now.
Yeah.
So congratulations, ladies. Despite the odds, you are still becoming successful. And that's huge, right? But we're still a minority.
Yes.
So that's kind of above my pay grade of giving advice on how to shift that.
Yes.
But we are still a minority. And so a lot of people don't know that, and it's a trip that we are, but we are. And, you think it wasn't even that long ago that we weren't able to vote, that women weren't able to vote. And now we're living in a society where a lot of women are the breadwinners. And so it's kind of all like messed up and awesome at the same time. Because we're having to recreate our roles, and we're having to break belief systems of what's normal. And so again, I think the superpower is leadership.
Yes.
I mean, how do you feel significant in your life? That's leadership. It's not the job you hold.
Exactly.
Right?
It's not the external.
It's not, but that is so hard. That is so hard. Like, that's so hard to deal with even men and women right now. I mean, I have a bunch of friends right now that we all work with our spouses, and our husbands have left careers and come and worked in our companies. And really at the end of the day, is it really our companies? Well, not if you're planning on being married for the rest of your life. It really is. It's ours, right?
Exactly.
But technically when you get down to it, it's like, well, I started it. And I've been doing it. But why is it like you bring in partners, like people bring in partners and they get shares in the company, and now we're co-founders? There's like a lot of challenges in couples, because women are afraid to let go of their baby to their spouses, because what if you did get a divorce, or what if, they took it, and then, the other spouse is like, this isn't really mine. And that's all leadership, right? So and I'm not saying like I think there's a journey as we're all walking through these pieces, but the superpower is leadership. It's the ability to look at what are we really trying to accomplish, and what is a conversation we're getting stuck in that really is irrelevant. Like, it's really irrelevant who owns it. Right? What's relevant
is how you impact the world and what you do to change people's lives.
And are we buying things and investing in things that we're doing together?
Yes.
Right? Like, it's like, so so that's the superpower. That's just it. So if you were to so women, it's like the last question I would circle back up on, and what you asked is like, ladies, I think it's really important to know how to be a woman still, and how to, even I'm very scripture based. And I think that at the end of the day, the men do get to have the role of the last word. And I know a lot of women would not agree with me on that, but it works inside of a household to, for women to allow their men to play a certain role in their life. And so my husband, as much as like when we work together, and he runs our leadership division, which we opened 2.5 years ago, because we found the only reason why people weren't succeeding in life was leadership. And so I never intended to open up another company. I love my business side of my company, my business coaching. And truly, that's actually where the bread and butter and the impact in my heart is. But I couldn't do that responsibly without having leadership. Because people just don't get to their end destination without it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm just going to ask you a final question. So what are the 3 key pieces of advice you would give to other entrepreneurs, and what legacy would you like to leave?
So that's so good. So the piece of advice that I would give to entrepreneurs is, there was an 18 or 19-year-old in my mastermind a few years ago. And I swear God planted her there, because she was there and she stood up and she said, a mentor gave me great advice. And the mentor said, focus on my personal development, not my business strategies, and I'll make millions. And she'd made her first million.
Wow.
and she was the youngest person in the room. And it was shortly after that I made the decision the next summer to open up a leadership division, because I was compelled to, because I watched people struggle. I watched myself struggle without it. I watched my marriage struggle without it, so I would say focus on leadership no matter what, more so than anything else. Spend more time with that. If you can spend more time with God, do it. You know what I mean? If you've never read the Bible, figure out there's a Bible called The Daily Fire. It's amazing. Get it, read it daily. It's would take you literally 6 minutes a day. So develop your faith and develop your leadership. And then the flip side is, for my legacy, I have a group of friends called the Yacht Club, and the Yacht Club are friends that I want to do life with. And my legacy, as much as I love my business and my company and I love all the work that I'm doing, I get paid for that. I should show up and do that. Do you know what I mean? And yes, there's legacy in that for sure. The entrepreneurs who go and build the businesses and hire people and figure out how to work as teams and create a big impact in the world. There's huge legacy there. And I know that. But if I can help my friends, if I can have a yacht club of friends that, and this may sound ridiculous, but that we're all very strong in our leadership, so we're not emotionally triggered, and so therefore we're safe for each other to be friends long term, right? We're not going to bail on each other, but also that I can help each and every single one of them become more wealthier. Now remember, I became a business coach for a reason. God put something in me to create income, right? And so I'm not money driven, but it is written about in the Bible 2,000 times. So I've gained a lot of faith in God through me learning how to play a bigger game that I needed him to show up to make it happen. And so I want to make a lot of my friends very, very wealthy, and for the right reasons.
100%. And that's why we're here as well, to also serve each other and help each other.
Yeah, for sure. So
well, thank you so much, Shanda, for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can have you back in the future.
Sounds great. I would love it.